I've been seeing a lot of budget phones recently that claim to offer you the world. They make such bold claims about their amazing screens and their amazing cameras and their amazing battery and how the specs are absolutely ludicrous that they really make you wonder, if all of this was actually true, then why would anyone ever spend more than the $300 to $400 that they cost? And are flagship phones basically a scam? So let's find out. This is the top of the line, almost maxed out Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which I bought for $1,379. And then this is, I think, the best spec affordable phone that's ever existed, the $349 Xiaomi Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus. Yeah, I could buy 4 of these phones for the price it would cost to buy 1 of these. So let's properly test every aspect of both phones to see how close or far the experience actually is. So as far as the unboxing goes, it's not a question of how close the Redmi can get to the Samsung, it's really how close the Samsung can get to the Redmi. The answer to which is not very close. This Note 13 Pro Plus, it comes with a matte black case included, a USB-C cable, and then I'm not even joking, 120 watt fast charger. Samsung literally just comes with a cable. So there's already additional costs that you're going to have to pay out. And even when you spend that money, you're still not going to get close to the charging speed of the Redmi. But more on that later. Let's start with the build. You would expect flagship phones to get you higher quality materials, right? And in a way, that is the case. The S23 Ultra comes with the very latest Gorilla Glass Victus 2. The Redmi comes with the prior generation Gorilla Glass Victus 1, which just requires a little bit less force to damage. The rim going around the Samsung is armor aluminium, which is a bit tougher than the more standard aluminium that you get on the Redmi. But really? That's it. Will 99% of people be able to tell any perceptible difference in quality? I don't think so. There's not a single bit of flexing or creaking on the Xiaomi. The vegan leather on the back, to me, feels just as high quality as the glass on the Samsung. And it passes the scratch test. I've rubbed keys against it, cards against it, phones against it, and it doesn't really pick up any wear and tear. These buttons on the side, they're cushioned, so they're really quiet to press. And just generally, the phone is way more comfy. It's got soft, rounded corners that don't dig into your hands like Samsung's sharper ones. And it's almost 15% lighter, which is light enough to feel liberating when you're coming from this to this, but not light enough to feel cheap. And yeah, flagship phones do tend to have IP68 water resistance, but so does the Redmi. So at 25% of the price, I would genuinely say the build and design you're getting is 95% as good, which is a very strong start. And then you turn the screens on, and you have to full-on check yourself, because this is where you would assume the difference would be immediately obvious. But the Redmi has not just a passable screen, or even a good screen. This is nearly as good as you can get. Both phones have a 120Hz max refresh rate, both are OLED panels, which keeps the contrast levels high, and both have basically infinite viewing angles. Samsung has a very slight blue tinge as you rotate, and Xiaomi has a very slight yellow tinge, but barely noticeable on either. Now, Samsung's display is a better display. Like, it's got the ability to be both higher resolution and brighter, but it's also a really good example of how nowadays the baseline is so good that you probably either won't notice the difference or you'll actually think the Xiaomi looks better. For example, in terms of resolution, the Samsung has a 1440 by 3088 display, which is 4.4 million pixels, compared to Xiaomi's max of 1220 by 2712, which is 3.3 million pixels. But here's the thing, Samsung, knowing how niche the need for that many pixels is, actually ships the phone set to 2316 by 1080, which is just 2.5 million. So while it can be sharper, the setting that it comes with, the one they recommend and therefore what most people are going to use it with, is actually less sharp. Exact same thing for brightness. While Samsung is capable of going brighter, that extra brightness is locked behind a separate setting that most people probably won't enable since it specifically warns you of the loss of battery if you do. And assuming you don't, the Redmi Note is actually the brighter of the two screens. The only meaningful advantage that the Samsung and any $1,000 plus phone screen will have is LTPO, which is a more advanced, more expensive bottom layer to the screen that lets it not just get its refresh rate super high, but also dial it down really low, like to 30 Hz when you're watching a video that's only refreshing 30 times per second, or 10 Hz on a fairly static web page. No budget phone has this tech, and so the lowest they're going to be able to go is 60. This doesn't actually have any impact on the screen quality, and so for screens, I'm going to say the Redmi is again 95% of the Samsung experience, but it should come into play with battery. As of now though, if this phone continues at this rate of being 95% as good, while also coming with everything you need in the box, then honestly it is on track to completely embarrass the flagships of this year. So then I thought, what's likely to be the weakest link of a phone like this? Where would they have most tried to cut corners? What about the signal? So I started by doing a Wi-Fi speed test. I went to 3 different locations, and in location 1, they were basically on par. Location 2, Samsung was edging out the Xiaomi, and then location 3, Xiaomi edged out the Samsung, meaning really there's nothing in it, unless you have some bonkers Wi-Fi speed